Before it was in the parking lot.
We have the pleasure of the historic train depot open house in Laramie, Wyoming today. And it goes till about 4 o'clock today, this afternoon, and then 9 to 4 tomorrow on Sunday. And we're visiting with Ron briefly, a little bit of train history, and you were telling me about Sherman Hill and how it got its name.
Well, it got its name because the engineer that designed the route or determined the route for the Union Pacific's original transcontinental was a guy by the name of Grenville Dodge. He had been a Union general, and he named it after another Union general, Sherman. Sherman was famous for burning every place he went in the South, and so the Southerners don't like it very much. And but that's what they named it. In fact, there was a little town at the top called Sherman near Ames Monument.
Okay.
And, in fact, there's still the remnants of the cemetery up there, just a little ways from the Ames Monument. But that's the reason they built these big locomotives. They built the Challenger first, which is a 4664. That's the wheel configuration. And then they decided to go ahead and build one just a little bit bigger, the big boy, which is 4884. And both of those were built. Half the reason was the hill, Sherman Hill between here and Cheyenne. The other half of the reason was the climb on the Wasatch coming out of Ogden back to Green River. Mm-hmm. And I could tell you the story about the Challenger, but that might be tedious. What else? Oh, that's so the big locomotives, Laramie being the location of the call for big locomotives, one of the things that's unique about Laramie for railroading. This is our treasurer. This is Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Hey there, how are you?
Good to see you. This is the talk shop. We're bringing the audience into the open house here. It's open to the public today, free admission.
That's right.
Yeah, good to have you. And what keeps you involved in trains, sir?
Well, I just love the lore and being able to work with great guys like this.
Yeah. Are you
the
a train advocate from employment, past employment, current employment?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, my father was a locomotive engineer as well as his dad, and then 2 generations before that as well. So,
what's special about Laramie's train depot for you?
For me, my grandfather worked out of this station for a long time, and the actual 535 over there, he was one of the last to actually drive that locomotive over there in the park. So,
okay, all right,
always been something special to me.
The pieces that are available for viewing outside the depot, what can you tell us about that string of equipment?
Oh, man. This would probably be our better guy to tell you about that stuff.
Well, you got the plow, which is
the plow on the front.
Right. It's a snow plow. It's not a Jordan spreader. But it's little brother, and it was used to plow the snow. Of course, it didn't have any locomotion of its own, so it had to be pushed by a locomotive. And then we've got the 535, which is a 480 configuration. It's called a consolidated. The original, the very first one of those was built for a consolidated bunch of railroads in the East. And that's the way most locomotives will get a name. Somebody will come up with a slang term for them, and it'll stick to them. So that became consolidated. The Northern, which is the 844 that we mentioned before, was the only locomotive that's never been retired.
Right.
It's a 484 configuration. The first one of those was built for Northern Pacific. That was the most popular large locomotive between the 2 world wars and right up past the Second World War. Is still very popular. And but the first one of those was built for Northern Pacific. They called them all Northerns. We've got. Gosh, you want to come take a look at this?
Of course. Let's do it. I'll be back to visit with you if you have time. Special tours available right today and tomorrow at 600 1st Street in historic downtown Laramie.
So this is a display of the Challenger. This is the predecessor to the Big Boy. The Union Pacific went to ALCO, the American Locomotive Company, out of Schenectady, New York, and they said, if you can build us a single locomotive that can, without assistance, make it from Ogden, Utah to Green River, Wyoming, we'll buy a bunch of them from you. That's your challenge. They built this. It met the challenge, so they just call them all Challengers after that.
Okay.
Big Boy got its name because the first one of those that was being built, somebody in the shop there just took a piece of chalk and for the heck of it, they just wrote Big Boy on the front of it, and it stuck. So that's how some of these names get stuck. But this one here, as you can see, it's got a smaller configuration. This has got a 4, 6, 6, 4. I'm sorry, 4 leading wheels, 6 driving wheels, another 6 driving wheels, and then 4 trailing wheels. That's here to support mostly the box.
Balancing weight?
Yeah. Now this particular locomotive, the 3985, its home was here in Laramie. And the locomotive engineer for it, in fact that fellow we were just talking to said he drove it a couple times, was this fellow here. You can see his picture here, and this picture here. His name was Clayton Stamen. He lived in the 500 block of North 7th. He was a neighbor of ours. His son and my older brother were classmates. And he was the assigned engineer for it. I mean, if he's on vacation or sick, they'd have somebody else run it, but he was the basic driver for it. And I'm not sure how much. Can you pick up the detail? Are you interested in the detail? See all the little rivets and stuff. This particular model was built by the guy by the name of Hyde. He was a friend of Clayton. And when Clayton retired, he donated, he gave this to Clayton as a retirement gift. Isn't that beautiful? And then Clayton himself was real big on woodworking. He had a professional woodworking shop in his garage, and he made the display. We have it now.
Beautiful piece.
And here's an interesting little story that was common for railroad workers, the train workers. Now, in the cab here, you're going to have the engineer on the right, fireman on the left. You'll have the front brakeman up here as well. The rear brakeman and the conductor will be in the caboose. Now, as you can see, these rivets here that slope down. The front half of this tender, this car behind the locomotive is called the tender. The front half of it was coal, and there was a steam-powered auger that ran from the coal to the firebox that the firemen controlled to maintain the degree of heat that they needed.
By how much coal was put in?
Right, and then the back half of this, from these slanted rivets to the back, there was a water tank. So when they were coming up to a tunnel, the front brakeman would jump up here, run across, open the lid to the water tank, climb down the ladder, and he'd hold the lid open just about that far until they got through a tunnel, so he wouldn't have to choke on all that smoke.
See that plume.
So the poor engineer and the poor fireman had to choke on this. Eventually, the Union Pacific came up with gas masks for them for when they were going through tunnels. But before they did that, the front brakeman said, "That's enough of this. Get me out of here."
We're visiting with Ron at the historic train depot, 600 1st Street in historic downtown Laramie. Today, an open house, free to the public, open to the public, free admission. And if you are so inclined, make it down here. There's a wonderful group. How many on your board of directors?
12.
12 of you. And are all of you here today and doing such a fantastic job of educating us?
Well, we should be, but I'm not sure. I haven't counted heads yet. I just came into the...
Roll call hasn't been made yet, huh?
Not by me. Sean might know.
Well, it's good. It's a great opportunity. Rails into Laramie, big history, and this a spectacular opportunity. This is a wonderful structure. Nobody built buildings just quite like the railroad.
This is opened in 1924.
This particular building, 24.
It's the only building of this age in Laramie that's never been remodeled.
And you told me earlier that originally there was another one just north of here.
Yeah, there's another one 4 blocks north of here. Come with me, I'll show you a picture.
Hey,
Harold. this here is a picture of the old depot.
This is the original depot.
Yeah.
In Laramie.
That was 4 blocks north of here. Now, when the Indo-Pacific first got here and was building this, there was nothing else here. And so the depot's down here, and they built on a hotel, restaurant, more hotel space, and some sleeping quarters for some of the workers.
Ron, was this located right north of where the buildings of historic downtown Laramie are, and there's long-term parking there now at the end of like a block north of Ivinson Avenue?
Oh.
Is it about there where it was? Where was this located?
This
North of here, but
this would be about two blocks north of the footbridge.
2 blocks. Yeah, that'd be right about where I'm thinking. Okay. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's not public parking there now. It's all UP.
Yeah, it's still UP land.
Yeah,
Yep.
they knocked everything off of it. But this is made out of wood, and the story goes that in 1917 a fire got away from the kitchen and burned most of it down.
Well, they replaced it with a spectacular building. I'm so glad that you guys have kept it running. And how does somebody book this facility for engagements, whether they want a wedding or whatever it might be?
They can go online to Laramie Railroad Depot, or they can go on Facebook and and just contact us that way. There's a little calendar. They can look to see if the date that they have in mind has already been booked or not, and just it's a real simple process. They apply online, we book them, they come down, and we give them a little tour to make sure they know where the fire extinguishers are, the escape hatches, all that sort of thing. And it's as simple as that.
Ron, we appreciate your time. Thanks for having the Talk Shop on location.
We'd love to have everybody come visit.